Where the hell is Andrew Demetriou? Why has he been so silent through all of this? 5 days of revelations reflecting badly on the AFL by association, and all we had, was one word from him since the story started unravelling about the high-flying player-manager and his nocturnal visits to the hotel room of the 17-year-old girl he was supposedly mentoring. One word. And since we'd seen videos of lines of cocaine in her room, Nixon in his underpants on her crumpled bed, damning recorded conversations published in the Herald Sun this week about illegal drug routes, and that one word was disappointing. Disappointing. Now, a drop in gate figures is disappointing. A star player suffering a knee injury is disappointing. A TV station's decision to broadcast a game in delay is disappointing. A wet grand final is disappointing. But Ricky Nixon's behaviour in the wake of the St Kilda nude photo scandal over Christmas, a scandal which his players were at the centre of, his behaviour was not disappointing, it was reprehensible, it was vile, it was disgusting, and a dreadful betrayal of trust. And Mr Demetriou, your silence for all those days made a mockery of all those pious things we've heard about the AFL's respect for women policies, and the workshops and the seminars you boast about, the ones you're holding for young players to educate them about the right way to behave in society. How do you expect them to adopt a code of decent behaviour when the manager of some of them is pictured in his underpants in a teenager's room and accused of snorting cocaine with her? Andrew Demetriou is well aware of the intricacies of the scandal. And I think the last time he spoke at length about it was when he went on 3AW in December and said he'd met about 20 times with the girl as part of the AFL's attempts to help her. As it turned out, he hadn't. She told me she's never met him, but she met with an AFL official 3 or 4 times. Now, over the past few days, it seems to me, the AFL heavies have hidden behind the Players Association. On Monday, in a brief comment, the AFL Football Operations Manager, Adrian Anderson, he said, and I quote, "Ultimately, it is a matter for the Players Association." Well, it's not. It is not. Demetriou finally held a media conference this afternoon, 2 hours before the association's meeting, and said he'd spoken to Nixon at the weekend to express his disappointment. That word again. Now, here's a brief edited version of some of the things he said at that media conference.
When it comes to the matter pertaining to this particular girl and how it's been handled by the AFL, I want to just restate a few points. We share the community's concern for the welfare of this girl. I want to make it clear that the well-being of this girl, and in fact any girl or woman in the community, is extremely important. As an organisation, we've met, spoken and had contact with this young girl on numerous occasions. We've offered her support, and we've also at various stages been in contact with the Education Department, Children's Protective Services, Welfare Support Services and Victoria Police to see what they can do. Our offers of support have included counselling and access to other services. We've also had contact with her family and offered support to both this girl and her family. We take this matter and any matter involving a young girl very seriously, and that's why we've offered her our support. And that offer remains should she want to accept it. But it's only proper that we let the AFLPA deal with this matter this afternoon involving Ricky Nixon and allow that process to run its course. I spoke to Ricky Nixon on Saturday. The tenor of my conversation with Ricky was along the lines of how disappointed I was. He understood fully my disappointment and how I believe that action was unacceptable. He admitted that he'd made a serious error of judgment, and of course I asked after his well-being. We had a brief conversation. I didn't seek an explanation of his version of events. As I said, I had a brief conversation. I don't know the full, and I don't think many of us do until the AFLPA, quite rightly at the moment, are undertaking their investigation. That may take even beyond today, and I think all of us should allow that process to run its course, because then all of us will have much more information before we start passing certain judgment.
Okay, that's Andrew Demetriou today. Now that leaves the question, what will the AFL do, what they do this afternoon, if the association does not revoke Nixon's licence, when they should have suspended him on Monday anyway? And why didn't they demand Nixon appear at their meeting today instead of communicating by email after he thumbed his nose at them and police and flew off, presumably to Ireland, on Monday night? Now, as the battle-hardened and the experienced Demetriou knows, rumour thrives in a vacuum. His silence over those days brought speculation about his friendship with Nixon, the fact that Demetriou started his own stunning rise to the top of the AFL tree and the multi-million-dollar contract. He started that as the head of the Players Association. His detractors claim that Nixon may have helped him get that original job. Whatever, Andrew Demetriou's failure, in my mind, to lead on this has hurt the AFL image at the start of what was meant to be a glistening new season with a new team on the block. And I believe he must cut Nixon loose. And remember, racing manages to ban undesirables from racecourses. The AFL should do the same with a manager whose stable has included such drug-shrouded stars like Gary Ablett Sr., Wayne Carey and Ben Cousins. You notice the AFL honcho is quick to comment and act on Ben Cousins and Brendan Favola and their transgressions. Why should a person like Ricky Nixon, who has represented the AFL on overseas assignments, why should he be treated with kid gloves?